All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking something that literally affects almost every single thing we buy online. We're pulling back the curtain to see exactly how massive platforms, the big ones like Amazon, Google Maps, Yelp, Airbnb, how they actually hunt down these coordinated fake review rings. It is honestly a high stakes AI detective story, and it's happening right under our noses every single day.
Think about it for a second. Have you ever bought a product that had thousands of glowing five-star reviews, only to open the box and realize it's absolute junk? Yeah, it leaves you feeling totally betrayed, doesn't it? Well, that feeling of betrayal is exactly what these platforms are spending millions of dollars to prevent. Because at the end of the day, if you don't trust the reviews, you're not going to buy the product. Trust really is their ultimate product.
And the sheer scale of this problem, it's honestly staggering. We're talking about platforms processing billions of reviews from hundreds of millions of users. Finding the fakes in that much data isn't just looking for a needle in a haystack. It's more like trying to find a counterfeit needle in a massive pile of real needles, and you have to do it in near real time, all while these malicious actors are actively trying to outsmart you. Wild, right? So the core objective here isn't just about detecting and suppressing fake incentivized reviews and the networks pumping them out. Actually, the second half of that equation is just as crucial, preserving trust while protecting the honest reviewers and legitimate businesses. If the AI detective gets way too aggressive and accidentally deletes real reviews from real people, well, the whole system fails just as hard. Now, you might be wondering, why not just have the AI read the text? That's a super common misconception. A lot of people think we can just use natural language processing to read a review, and if it sounds fake or a bit robotic, boom, delete it. But treating this as just a text analysis problem, industry insiders actually called that a massive, naive trap. Let's weigh these two approaches against each other, because this is where the real detective work kicks in. Trying to spot a fake just by analyzing the text is incredibly easy for bad actors to evade. Plus, it introduces some pretty serious structural biases. Instead, the modern, cutting-edge approach relies heavily on graph detection and behavioral analysis. It's way less about what is actually being said in the review, and much, much more about how and when these accounts are behaving together as a coordinated network. I mean, think about the world we live in right now with generative AI. Large language models can write flawless, perfectly human-sounding text in seconds. A pure text classifier literally can't tell the difference anymore. And there's a huge engineering pitfall here, too. Strict text rules often accidentally penalize innocent, non-native English speakers. Their genuine reviews get flagged as fake just because of slightly atypical phrasing. So because of all that, analyzing the text is now just a supporting clue. It's definitely not the main event. So instead of playing grammar police, the AI investigates this whole thing like a massive, coordinated heist. It does this by building what's known as the reviewer product graph. Picture a giant, invisible web connecting absolutely everything. Every reviewer, the specific products they buy, the sellers they interact with, the IP addresses they log in from, even the exact devices they use. This graph is the ultimate weapon against organized manipulation. Let's look at the AI's actual clue board to see how this plays out. The system is constantly hunting for behavioral anomalies. Take review velocity, for example. Did an account that's been quiet for years suddenly crank out 55-star reviews today? Or temporal spikes. Why did 50 entirely different accounts, all sharing the exact same IP address, suddenly decide to rate a random blender 5 stars within a 10-minute window? Suspicious, right? It also heavily weighs whether these accounts actually have a verified purchase. These behavioral signals are so much harder to fake at scale than just writing a convincing paragraph. But here is the absolute hardest part of this whole AI system. The labels are inherently scarce and super noisy. The AI almost never gets a perfect answer key confirming, yes, this review is 100% fake, because it can't just rely on simple, supervised matching against a list of known bad guys. The entire system is forced to use unsupervised anomaly detection. Basically, it has to constantly look for weird structural patterns and clusters in that giant web of data. This whole machinery operates as one massive, continuous pipeline. The second new reviews come in, their text and metadata are instantly combined with huge graph lookups pulling from that web of connections we just talked about. This massive dataset feeds into an authenticity score, which spits out a probability of fraud. That score then hits an action policy that makes the final call. Publish it, hide it, or flag it for a human to review. And the result of all this invisible math? It's the trust-adjusted rating. That 4.2-star rating you actually see on the product page, that's definitely not a simple average. It's a highly calculated, dynamically adjusted score based on how much the system actually trusts those reviewers. To keep the platform clean, this defensive machinery leans on a pretty clever two-step process. Step 1 happens in a fraction of a second, near real-time online scoring the exact moment you hit submit. It instantly checks your review velocity, your verified purchase status, and runs some basic graph lookups. Then comes Step 2, the heavy lifter. These are massive, scheduled offline sweeps running hourly or daily. They analyze the entire giant graph to catch those patient, coordinated crime rings that might have slipped through the cracks individually, but look incredibly suspicious when you zoom out and look at the whole network.
Now, there is a massive catch-22 built into this defensive perimeter, and it's called the cold start dilemma. Think about a brand new product that just launched, or a totally new user writing their very first review. To an AI looking for patterns, they naturally look a bit suspicious simply because they don't have a history yet. But at the exact same time, new products are prime targets for fraudsters trying to artificially boost a launch. So the AI has to perfectly calibrate its scrutiny. It needs to block the scammers without accidentally crushing an honest newcomer. Talk about a delicate balance. The AI is constantly walking this tightrope of complex failure modes. On one side, you've got a ring miss. That's where the system looks at reviews individually and totally misses a huge organized fake rating burst. But then, on the complete opposite side, you have the burst false alarm. Like, what if a product genuinely goes insanely viral on social media and thousands of real people suddenly rush to buy and review it? There's also that ESL bias we touched on earlier, where genuine non-native speakers might get suppressed. If the AI accidentally suppresses these valid signals because it thinks they're a fake network, it actively hurts legitimate users and trending businesses.
Which brings us to what engineers consider the ultimate trade-off in review integrity. This might sound completely counterintuitive, but it's absolutely vital. Over-deleting reviews is actually way worse for the platform than missing a few fake ones. The AI has to constantly balance the fake prevalence against its false removal rate. It's a huge guardrail. Because ultimately, removing honest reviews erodes the exact trust the platform is trying so hard to protect. If you wrongly accuse an honest user of being a bot, or if you unfairly strip away genuine reviews from a hardworking mom-and-pop business, you're breaking the platform's social contract. You end up destroying the very trust you just spent billions of dollars trying to secure in the first place. So we've seen how the reviewer product graph and behavioral analysis are currently saving us from a flood of text-perfect fake reviews. But I want to leave you with this provocative thought to ponder. As autonomous AI agents get more and more advanced, they aren't just going to mimic human text anymore. They'll start mimicking human network behavior. They'll browse randomly, they'll space out their timings, and they'll build perfectly legitimate-looking graphs. When bots learn to flawlessly replicate the messy, chaotic behavior of genuine humans, will our AI detectives be able to stay one step ahead? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep a sharp eye out the next time you're scrolling through those 5-star ratings.